Hi, I'm Malcom Montgomery. I'm the Senior Group HR Manager for Advotech. Advotech is a holding company for a number of private education as well as placement businesses. We focus on pre-primary and primary as well as secondary schools through our brands like Crawford College, Trinity House, Junior College, and also a special focus on grades 10, 11 and 12 through Abbott's colleges around the country. In our tertiary space, we have brands like Varsity College, College Campus, Rosebank College, Vega, the Design School Southern Africa, the National College of Photography, as well as Forbes Lever Baker. And then in our placement area, we would boast recruitment brands like Brent, Communicate, Vertex Capelle, Inkokeli. One of our recruitment agencies that focuses on a special area of the market in terms of the IT industry and placement in that industry would be InSource. My role as the HR manager for special projects focuses around organizational development, management and leadership training at 3 different levels. That would be the management toolkit or help I'm a new manager level, a management development program, as well as a leadership development program. And all of this is underpinned through a process of structured mentoring. And at the moment, Advotech has in excess of 65 trained mentors and approximately 120 mentees who are participating in a 12-month structured mentorship program. My thoughts on leadership would probably start with a fairly frivolous comment that if you're leading and nobody's following, then you're not really leading, you're just out there taking a walk. But there is some seriousness to that comment. I'd like to think that when we lead, we need to be conscious of where we are leading people to, and in fact leading them to where they want to be led and are able to be led. And it's for this reason that the mentorship program has such a pivotal focus in terms of what we do. Advotech is particularly focused at the moment on leadership because we stand poised on a period of 5 to 8 years of growth ahead of us. Our schools division, for example, large as it might be, intends doubling in size over the next period, and for that reason, as HR staff supporting senior management, we need to be acutely aware of the concept of strategic HR management, where we forecast the supply and the demand of personnel at a different range of levels within the organization. And this is where we're focusing on the training of managers as well as the training of leaders to take Advotech to the next level. In terms of coaching and in the interest of the greater development of individuals within Advotech, as well as growing our brands and our divisions over the next couple of years, both coaching and mentoring have become pivotal in focus. We have a formal and structured Advotech mentorship program where a mentor and a mentee are paired for a 12-month period, and they focus on very specific identified goals. The mentorship program we see more as relational, whereas the coaching we see more as functional. And in the functional space of coaching, we would have school principals, for example, as well as campus principals in our tertiary space, or business unit managers in our recruitment and resourcing space, working with a subordinate who is poised to be groomed and developed and promoted into a position of principal or business unit manager at a point in the future. And this would be very functional, focusing on actual coaching in terms of how does one work a budget, how does one prepare a timetable for a large academic institution, how does one deal with people, how does one deal with recruitment. That we do on the coaching side, which is less formal, less structured. On the mentoring side, the program in fact is a little bit more structured as a mentorship program where we identify goals, we build in assumptions, we do formal closeout reports and include in that closeout report lessons learned, as well as the internal rate of return or return of investment calculation by way of evaluating the worth of our intervention in the mentoring program over a 12-month period. Over the last 4 years or so, Advotech has developed a rich and meaningful relationship with Profiles International SA, where one of the particular products we found useful in this space is the PXT assessment. It's an online assessment that takes less than an hour and gives such rich and valuable data for us to use in a number of different areas. For example, we would use it when we were thinking of recruiting somebody for a particular position, or whether we were wanting to compare 2 or more candidates to identify the most suitable candidate for a particular position, as well as the grooming, the coaching, the guiding and developing of such individuals to meet the requirements of the job. The PXT does this admirably for us because it creates a person profile, which we then compare to a job profile. And the beauty of the data correlation that comes out is we can see an immediate correlation between the person and the job on a number of different levels, from learning style to behavioral style, thinking style, manageability, sociability. And we can utilize that to assist us from a scientific perspective in terms of making an informed decision rather than purely a gut feel. Gut feel comes into it, as it always will, but coupled with some scientific data through a PXT assessment makes it all the more valuable. Linked to the PXT is also the selection report, which helps us probe areas that we should be questioning, as well as an actual coaching report on the assumption that we've already employed the person and now want to groom them and empower them to narrow the gap in terms of the identified correlation between the person profile and the job profile. 2 further online assessments other than the PXT, which I've used with great success over the last couple of years, are the PPI, where one assesses an individual, as well as the PTA, where the dynamic within a team is evaluated. And this gives us an idea of how the team performs as a team, where the gaps might be, and gives some guidance in terms of how one might want to include an additional team member with a different profile to enhance the quality of that particular team. When we do the PTA assessment, it's important that we do this from time to time based on the dynamic within that team, because as we know, teams go through various stages, and they may well be at the performing stage right now, but if one member leaves or a new member joins, that team actually needs to go right back to stage 1, where they form, where they storm, where they norm, and ultimately get back to the performing stage and beyond. And we find the PTA an extremely valuable tool, again, in terms of adding some science to our gut feel decision around building teams and introducing individuals, specific profiled individuals, into specific teams for particular purpose. My association with Profiles International SA from the word go has been rich and meaningful, to say the least. I've engaged not only with senior staff members, but I've engaged with all staff members, from admin through to technical support to reception and frontline, as well as training facilitators. And I think the one thing that impressed me particularly over the last 4 years of engagement is the consistent quality service, customer service focus that has been given. Whether I'm leaving a message, wanting to book a call, wanting to purchase more units for my PXT assessments, the service has always been friendly, the service has always been courteous, and the service has also always had a component of a little bit of socialization and chattiness before each of the meetings, as opposed to just business as usual. So I really appreciate Mark and his team and thank them for the support they've given me in terms of making me a better manager, and by implication giving me the opportunity of impacting on the lives within Advotech as well as outside of Advotech.